Can you believe someone built a hypersonic missile using cement, a type that only China, the United States, and Russia have ever produced? On November 25, 2025, a small private Chinese company actually did it. The missile has a range of 1,300 kilometers and a top speed of Mach 7. It can be transported to any location using a regular shipping container track, remotely activated, and uses the most advanced translation trajectory. After reaching its designated airspace, it can automatically identify targets. If the enemy launches missile defense interceptors, it can autonomously evade. You could quietly deploy dozens of them on tiny islands or oil platforms, then suddenly activate them for a mass launch when the target passes by. To demonstrate accuracy, they dug a small hole in the ground. The missile dived straight into it at over Mach 5 and then exploded within. With that kind of precision, could it strike an underground nuclear weapon? Or could it hit a gopher? But the most unbelievable part is the price. Rocket technology is usually extremely expensive because everything requires specialized parts and production is limited. But this small private company used the civilian off-the-shelf components. For example, through testing and searching, they replaced a 70.6-cent screw with a 4.2-cent one, cutting costs to 1/15 of the original. As you may know, when rockets fly, their surface heats to thousands of degrees. They created a new thermal protection layer using construction-grade cement. While traditional coatings cost as much as several luxury cars, their version is so cheap, even embarrassing to quote. For optical sensors, they simply bought consumer cameras online. Too cold? Stick on a heating pad. Too fragile? Fill them with glue. They essentially pushed the cost down to a tiny fraction, just a few percent of US or Russian missiles of similar capacity. The founder's dream is simple: use the lowest cost to build the highest technology. They are also developing other wild projects, hypersonic crewed spaceflight and a bunch of pixelated, weird-looking rocket vehicles. You can't even tell what they're for. So what's truly special here? The first is that China's industrial system and supply chain are now so broad that small private companies can literally buy standard commercial parts on the open market and build hypersonic weapons with skip-glide trajectories. The second is that China's depth of talent and technical reserves. A tiny private startup only 7 years old can form a complete team covering R&D, production, and launch, producing products that benchmark against the US and Russia. Interesting, isn't it? Who knows, maybe they'll build a moon base someday. And the key point here, their staff is cheap. We might even get the chance to use it in huge quantities someday. Follow me on Eastern Perspective to see the world.